pistols. The reason for that is if I had a HK that'd be gated Beretta, great. It doesn't matter to me, okay? This works across the board in all the guns and it doesn't make any difference. But I brought 3 out so that you could see them. If you'll remember, when I had you come on the line, I had you administratively load the pistol. That physical act was to keep the muzzle in a safe direction. You tapped or seated the magazine in place to make sure it was seated. You brought your hand over the top, you racked the slide to the rear, and then you put the gun in whatever mode you wanted it to be, safety on, fingers straight, you know, secured it, holster it, whatever. But that physical act of when I seated the magazine, I tapped it in place, I racked the gun, and then if I needed to fire, I did. What I want you to do now is that's the first part of mustard and ketchup. We'll say this first part is salt. When the gun doesn't do what I want, I simply tap the magazine, rack the action to reciprocate it, and then I attempt to fire. So without the magazine being seated, this is what will happen. When I bring it up, I'll fire the pistol. When I attempt to fire, it won't fire. In this case, you go, oh crap, it doesn't matter. Watch. Tap to seat it. Over the top, rack it to the rear, fire, and the gun's back in service. And you go, well, that was like 2 malfunctions in one. Cool. Okay, I like it when I get double stuff for my money. I bring it in here on a 1911. I press and I press. That's generally what you get as the hammer falls, the indicator that the gun is not functioning correctly. Tap to seat it, rack to load it, shoot if I have a target. If I have a Glock, I bring it up, okay? I fire it, I attempt to fire it, it won't. Tap, rack, shoot, and the gun's back in service. 3 guns, same drill, brought them all back up in service. The second one is real simple. What happens here is a failure to extract and eject, okay? And so it stands up on end, okay? And so what we do is we'll have a stovepipe. Some people call it a smokestack. Doesn't really matter what your nomenclature is. What I really want you to do is remember that this would be a firing stoppage. In other words, I take it out of the holster, I shoot it, this happens, or I find the gun on the ground. Maybe my partner dropped the gun, a battlefield pickup. When I pick the gun up, okay, I attempt to fire it. Remember, I'm going to run the first segment of the 2 parts. The first segment was, of course, tap to seat it, rack to load it, and fire it. If I bring it up and it doesn't work, tap, rack, shoot, and the gun's back in service. 1911, it doesn't work. Tap, rack, shoot, the gun's back in service, okay? I bring it up, it doesn't work. Now I'm going to pause here for a moment because sometimes people go, well, you did it so fast, are you actually grabbing the brass? I don't care about the brass, I'm not touching the brass, I'm not attacking the brass, I'm attacking the slide. So I tap to make sure it's seated, up over the top, attack the slide, circle back, confirm the target, and shoot if I have one. Of all the ones that people get, the ones that create the most anxiety for most people, at least in their head, is what would be called a double feed. This simply is just like I told you, a failure to extract. It's not clearing it. The extractor can be broken, okay, whatever is appropriate. It's not so much that the gun does or doesn't do what it's supposed to, okay, it's simply not running anymore. So if it doesn't run, what I do is sort of wang on it until it does. This is, however, where the second part comes in. Everything we did on the first part, remember the salt part of salt and pepper. Salt was tap, rack, attempt. If it fires, happy place. If it don't fire, which it won't in a minute, then I would run into the second component. Now I cross over into the pepper part of salt and pepper, the bacon part of eggs and bacon, the French fry part of hamburger and French fry. They just go right together. So the drill is real simple. Since I don't always know exactly what's going on, because I may do a lot of what I do in low failing light, I attempt to fire the gun and it doesn't work. Tap, rack. As soon as you rack it, you know it's not right. I press the button, pull the magazine out. And then people will go, well, should I lock the slide? Why? Just pull it and take it out. The hardest one to clear this way is the Beretta because it has no lip on the magazine, but it's not a big deal. I just hook my fingers in it and suck it out using gravity as my friend. So the drill is I took the magazine out and put it here, then I simply unload the gun. So imagine I just told you unload. As soon as I gave you the unload command, I go reload, tap, rack, and it's back in service. So the drill is simple. I'm here, I attempt to fire, tap, rack, it won't. Pull the magazine out, stick it here so my hand is free and clear and able to work. Unload the gun, okay, and get it cleared. Once it's unloaded, then tap, rack to reload it and shoot, and the gun's back in service. I attempt to fire, it won't. Tap, rack, it won't. Mag out, here, unload the gun, reload the gun, okay, and shoot. Then I have one other subtle nuance to ask you about. Where was the muzzle the whole time?
Between
Between you and the thread. what I'm gonna do is run one component. When one component doesn't work, I just smoothly roll right over into the next one. And well, it did this and it did that. If you think about it, the last time you went to the range, especially public ranges, some boobs down there going bow, bow, then they all get around and they have a big conference of Rhodes scholars, okay? Well, I think, I don't know. I don't care what went wrong. I beat the snot out of it until it works. I come up, I fire, it doesn't fire. Tap, rack, shoot, the gun's back in service. Here, it's not working, okay? This would be a firing stoppage, a battlefield pickup, it's not working. Tap, rack, shoot, the gun's back in service. I attempt to fire, it won't. Tap, rack, it won't rack. Unload the gun, reload the gun, and shoot, and you're back in service. Don't over-engineer it, don't IBM it, don't MIT it, and don't all go for a Rhodes Scholar and malfunction clearances, okay? Just tap, rack, it will or it won't. If it don't, unload it, reload it, and it fixes it.